Now, beyond the loss of a loved one, the second most painful thing, especially for a man, is to not have anything to be able to give your child. Your child tells you, buy me some sweets, yet you have nothing in your pocket to offer to them in their desire to be able to have you provide for them. This is the most difficult season in any man's life, and that is why I constantly speak about people taking charge of their finances so that they can be able to take care of the need when the need arises. When they have no other money coming in, they have something that has been set aside to be able to meet their needs in this time of adversity. And we have seen this happen time and time again. The first time that this has happened the last 2 years is when people were losing jobs during the corona season, when people were earning much less, when businesses were closing down because they could not be able to operate because of curfews, because of changes of policy, because of difficulty of people getting income to be able to buy the things that these businesses are offering, and people suffered financially. Landlords who depended on money as rent could not collect from their tenants. So much chaos that happened during this season. And this season was one of the most difficult financial seasons for any person around the world. And you could see this in the following facts. The number of domestic violence cases rose up. The amount of child poverty went up. The amount of hunger and malnutrition and undernutrition increased significantly during this season. This is the most difficult time, especially for parents, when you have nothing to offer to a child who is hungry and they're asking for you to give them something to be able to fill their tummy. Something that could be as easy and as cheap as 1 Kenya shillings or 1 cent dollars. You cannot be able to afford. This is a difficult season, and you can be able to overcome this. It has been noted through research that sometimes people get into this desperate poverty, not necessarily because they do not make any amount of money for the whole year, but because the money that they receive and use it in a bad way. One case is the case of, or the example of farmers. Farmers in a cooperative, the research was carried out, and in this cooperative, they did 2 ways of paying. They could pay monthly, a simple amount of money monthly, and then a smaller lump sum at the end of a season, or they could pay 1 lump sum amount of money for a whole year's produce that was delivered to the factory. It was noted that the people who were being paid every other month were able to become better financially, or they were able to manage their finances a little bit better because they never gotten to a point of lack. Then the people who were given lump sum amount of money once off in a year spent their money much badly, and within 3 months after receiving this lump sum of money, they went into abject poverty. The funny thing is, these 2 amounts of money were the same. It's just that one was being paid gradually and the other one was paid as a lump sum. So what actually happens? The thing is, people assume when they have a lot of money, they get into a position where they get overexcited about money. They get into a position where they constantly are coming from a point of abject need when they had zero to when they have the lump sum, and are unable to budget and plan for this amount of money to stretch out throughout the year. In fact, majority of people are actually poor financial managers. They do not manage their finances, even though they have the history of having to gotten to a point where they lacked 100%. They did not have any money, any disposable income. So the thing that you should be able to learn is, you should learn to budget when you have a lot, because there are seasons in your life where you will get double portion, triple portion, lump sum payments. Somebody will die and give you an inheritance. There are seasons like that will come. But also there are seasons that will come where you do not have a single amount of money in your pocket, when you cannot foresee when you can be able to get any amount of money. a point of desperation. The idea is to be able to keep that money in lump sum or in windfall years, to be able to earn you either an interest, either some passive income, but in a way that you forget about it, and the only time you use it is when you are in a point of a lot of need. And this can happen whether you make a lot of money, whether you make little money, whether you make a chunk of money all at once. This is one of the easiest ways that you can be able to secure your future, so that you do not get to that point in your journey financially where you are in total financial distress. And remember, due to research, people who are in financial distress cannot make decisions that are mentally better off for them. They make bad decisions. Why? Because their body and their mind, when enters into survival mode, do not ensure that your mind and your body and your heart do not go into survival mode. Desperate measures, desperate events. You are always constantly having adrenaline high. You are either in a fight or flight mechanism. When you are in this state of mind, you cannot make a good financial decision. Ask yourself, why do people who earn lotteries, who win a lot of money in lotteries, end up losing half of the amount of money within a year, and more than 190% of the people who win this money at the end of 3 years did not have a single cent, are even worse off financially than when they did not even have this winning? Why? This is because you have come from a point of need to a point where you have received a lot of money, and you are always constantly emotionally charged. You do not have time to think about what to do. You are in a survival mode. You are in a fight or flight kind of a thing. Ensure that when you have a lot of money, that you invest in things that are going to give you some perpetuity, that are going to stretch your money. In fact, if they give you some form of income, even better. Do not take the money that you receive a lump sum. Invest in fixed asset that does not have a cash flow, especially when you are sure the next time that you receive this lump sum might be a long time to come. So don't buy land, build a personal house, because when you do that, you may put your money in these physical assets, but they will not give you the cash flow that you need before you become desperately in need of money. Ensure that you invest in cash flow generating investments. Invest in money market funds. Invest in government bonds, something that will give you some income continuously for a period of time, because remember, it is a lump sum. There's a time then when you will not have anything, and you will depend on the earnings of this, or to be able to liquidate part of this to be able to meet your need. Have you met desperate people who are constantly selling off assets, land and buildings at throwaway prices, simply because all their money has been tied into these investments that cannot be liquidated on time? Do not put yourself in a fix. If you earn money as a lump sum, learn how to manage it. If you earn money in slow increments or small amounts of money, ensure whatever amount of money you make, you have set a certain percentage aside for a rainy day when you do not even have a cent that is coming in, so that you do not get to a point where your child asks you for sweets and you have nothing in your pocket. A desperate situation that can break any parent, break any man. I hope that you are learning, you're growing and becoming better in your financial affairs. Help me learn whether you are learning and growing, whether I have been helpful to you, what topics I can be able to discuss further. Leave them in the comment section. Remember to subscribe to the channel and to like this video. Thank you for your time and your patience.